I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas at the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all natural USDA prime Angus and Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you see their best-in-class New York steaks, filet mignons, and of course, the king of all, those tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes. Even the gourmet Angus and Wagyu beef burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. For more information, contact them at 702-799-9935. That's uppercutchops.com, 702-799-9935, 702-799-9935, or find out what's for dinner at uppercutchops.com. All right, a big welcome in to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast, Magic 97.9 FM right here in Las Vegas. And, of course, everybody watching on hotel television in over 500,000 rooms from coast to coast, as well as our Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, and Wow Cable affiliates, and all of our independents and everybody streaming and watching on AAMP.TV. Stands for All Ages Media Programming, in case you're keeping score. We're here with a very special guest. Let's let him introduce himself.
Hey guys, it's Erik Eldenius here from Billy Idol's band.
All right. That was quick. And it's Erik, the drummer, but he's got a lot of skills, but we're going to talk about all of those skills in just a minute. Erik, thanks for joining us here on the Sports Circus. Excellent.
Happy to be here.
Good stuff. So, Erik, how many years have you been playing with Billy Idol?
You know, this will be my 10th year, actually. Pretty amazing. Yeah, wow. It's gone by pretty fast.
10 years playing small venues, large venues. What do you prefer, small or large venues?
Well, I mean, for someone like Billy, just the way his music and the band projects, I think it's always going to come across better, you know, in a larger venue. But then there's an intimacy to smaller venues, which can be nice sometimes as well. But I think just in general, the way we play, the way Billy performs those songs, I mean, it requires a big place. I think it comes across better that way. Right.
I can imagine. I mean, geez, I hear in hockey stadiums and football stadiums, wherever I go to sporting events, of course, this is a sports show and we can talk music because we can. Also, It just happens that, let's face it, whether it's a TV timeout, whether it's halftime, in between periods and hockey games, whatever, there's always music played to keep the energy up. And Billy's got such incredibly high energy music. And so I would imagine he resonates very well in a big stadium on stage.
He certainly does. Yeah.
Yeah. And thinking about playing in front of those big crowds, I mean, how many times have you been to a sporting event or some other event, whatever, in a stadium, and you've heard this, maybe you've heard Billy's music. You're like, hey, wow, that's me. Right. I play that stuff. But at the same time, you're also wondering like, wow, do I want to glad hand everybody that recognizes me or whatever? Do I want to run to the restroom, or do I just want to soak it in and say, wow, what a great experience?
I would probably enjoy the experience. To be honest, I don't really go to that many, big sporting events. Maybe I'm not supposed to say that on this channel, but.
Oh, that's okay. No, it's quite all right. I mean, look, whether you do or whether you don't, look, I don't go to a lot of events myself. It's not as if, I attend every event here in Las Vegas or in LA or whatnot. I mean, look, we're everywhere. But the fact is, when you go to these events, Erik, when you go to these events, you say, we need something to keep the energy level up, especially if it's maybe a game, right? Maybe you're with the home team, you're rooting for the home team, whatever it is. And you're saying, I need to keep my energy level up. Maybe it makes me eat my food faster. I know I eat my popcorn faster when the energy's up.
Right.
Right. And so, as we think about you playing in these big stadiums with Billy and the band, look, the influence of the music, the influence of the energy resonates with the audience, whether you're in the seating in the lower bowl or the upper bowl, it doesn't matter. Or if you're in the corridors, because if you hear the music, you're probably getting into it.
Yeah. We actually, I'm trying to think. maybe it was 2004, 2005. We played a hockey event in Washington, D.C. I think it was like the day after New Year's or the day before, maybe. I'm trying to think of the event. Maybe you would know. It's a big event that happens every year in D.C. with their home team. I don't even know what they're called.
I'm trying to think of what it is, because I recall, I mean, look, a lot of stadiums have, Erik, they'll have these localized venue events, so to say. But I mean, hockey in Washington, D.C. is a really big deal anyway.
Right. So we played a couple of songs. I think it was before the game started, and it was incredibly cold outside. And, but yeah.
Oh, it was the stadium series. It was the outside games. That's what it was.
We played outside a massive stadium, and it was colder than hell. And, but yeah, it just goes to show how well his music works in those situations. Yeah, for sure.
Well, think about that. If you're out there freezing your ass off, we could say ass because we can, even though, look, we've got to watch what we say. We can't say the other words, but nonetheless, we think about if you're out there in a crowd and you're watching a game. And I've been to one of those outdoor games in Chicago. I saw the Chicago Blackhawks. And then I saw Detroit. I saw them play at Wrigley Field, and it was on New Year's Day, and it was really bleeping cold out. So I feel you on that. But the crowd, with the energy, with the music, the influence that the music has, it makes people forget about, number one, they're cold. Number two, they're cold. Right?
Yeah,
it makes them think about,
alcohol.
Yes, drink some more, eat some more, get up and dance and do whatever. And Billy certainly does that. And with your beats, let's face it, we have to think about, when we think about Billy, we think about drum beats. At least I do, nonetheless.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his music is very much driven by rhythm in general. So, yeah, the drums do play a pretty significant role. So, that's why it's absolutely amazing to have that role with him. It's a serious privilege for sure.
Well, it's exciting to be able to be a part of the greater purpose, but also it's the fact that, look, from an iconic standpoint, Billy's music has been played and played and played. I mean, it's still good. It doesn't matter if it's 40 years old. It's still good. Yeah. And people still get up and dance to it, don't they?
Oh, they certainly do. And it's what's also amazing to see is that we get more and more influx of younger people. So it's almost like this new generation of teenagers are discovering his music. And that's really, really nice to see.
It's crazy to imagine. It's just imagine you have a song that's like Rebel Yell. It's been out for so long, but how many generations has it affected? Yeah. And you get to play those drum beats to make those bodies move.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, it's knock on wood that it keeps going. It's fantastic.
Right. Well, it's not only that, it's almost like being the DJ in the club, being the guy that's playing the drum beats, because let's face it, in the club, what are people doing? They're dancing to a beat, whatever, right? But it's still you with the tempo, and you're the guy that's sort of controlling the crowd, because Billy could walk off stage and there's you playing what you're playing. I've got Rebel Yell in my head, for example, just the whatever. I've got that going in my head, and I could still see he could be off the stage for 5 minutes and you could still be playing that and people will still be dancing and doing what they're doing.
Yeah, no, that's the beauty of that role, is that you can in this situation, you can keep a crowd going. And, for better or worse, if I mess up, let's say I drop a drumstick or something and, the beat interrupts for a couple of milliseconds, then it becomes very, very obvious then too that, I'm the one carrying the beat. And so if I mess up, then the whole thing, gets off track for a bit.
Erik, don't you have drumsticks maybe behind you that you can always grab one or something over your shoulder? You
know what? That's probably a good idea. No, I kind of have them out to the side, and I'm usually pretty quick on the draw, but sometimes you're not.
How often do you drop the drumsticks, though?
It's not so much dropping, it's actually breaking sticks, which I do a lot. So you can kind of still keep going, but let's say on the hi-hat, that's probably the one stick. So the right hand, that's where I break the most sticks off of the hi-hat. So let's say half of it goes, you can kind of still play, but of course it's not going to sound as good, and it's certainly a lot more difficult. So, and that's one of the issues, like his music is so intense that it's always going. So it's really hard to find a spot, damn it, when is there a second for me to pick up another stick? And sometimes it can get so bad. I could, break a stick halfway through the song. And if it's a really intense song, I just have to keep going.
Hold that thought. We're going to be back here with the drummer for Billy Idol, and that's Erik Eldenius. Folks, don't go anywhere. Last more come here on the Sports Circus. Back in a few minutes.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
800-361-3491. 800-361-3491. 800-361-3491. Again, that's 800-361-3491.
AMP, the multi-format network, is here to help create, produce, distribute, and sell your content. For more information, send a message to info@aamp.tv. That's info@aamp.tv.
Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea, the American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's abtrustco.com, or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away.
Come on, you watch the news. Be prepared to pay more taxes. Then if you owe back taxes or haven't filed in a few years, get ready. The IRS, the largest collection agency in the world, will be coming after you with the power to collect taxes by any means they want to. Hey, they can freeze your bank account, your passport, even padlock your business. Good times. Look, if the IRS claims you owe them $5,000 or more in back taxes and they're coming after you, don't panic. Call my friends at Get a Tax Lawyer first. Their job is to negotiate with the IRS and save you money. They're experts at it. That's all they do, and you can trust them. In some cases, they have reduced a $50,000 tax bill to less than $1,000. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more in back taxes, call now for a free consultation.
800-908-7016. 800-908-7016. 800-908-7016. That's 800-908-7016.
Okay, folks, back here on the Sports Circus. I'm Erik Mastercell with, of course, little Billy Idol playing in the background because we're here with Erik Eldenius, drummer for Billy Idol. And, of course, a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Thanks for joining us here on the Sports Circus. This segment brought to you in part by Curry Leaf. Flavors of India, fine Indian cuisine right here in Las Vegas, 5025 South Fort Apache off the corner of Tropicana and Fort Apache in the southwest side of town, only 5 or 10 minutes away. Depends on how fast you drive from the Las Vegas Strip. Incredible food. I love it. I eat there a couple of times a week. They don't pay me for saying this. I just do it because I dig it. And the people are phenomenal. The food is amazing. Everything from tandoori salmon. Yes, tandoori salmon. To coconut curry sea bass, things that you wouldn't necessarily imagine at pick your favorite Indian restaurant. Find out what's on the menu at curryleafvegas.com. That's curryleafvegas.com, or call for reservations at 702-527-7977, 702-527-7977. Again, 702-527-7977. That's right here in Las Vegas. Curry Leaf, Flavors of India, fine Indian cuisine. An astounding round of applause for Curry Leaf, and the food's good. All right, welcome back to everybody listening in on Magic 97.9 FM right here in Las Vegas. CBS Sports 1500 KHKA over in Honolulu. That's the home of the 49ers and the San Francisco Giants and the Alabama Crimson Tide, for all you keeping score. And big welcome into everybody over in Auburn, Alabama, WAUD, home of the world champion Atlanta Braves, WDJY over at Atlanta, 99.1 FM, 107.1 The River, covering Natchez, Mississippi, Louisiana. Folks, we're everywhere. You can't get away from us. And a big welcome back to everybody on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Wow Cable affiliates, and Hotel TV. We are here with drummer for Billy Idol. That's Erik Eldenius. Erik, thanks for coming back and having another segment or two with us.
Of course, man. You got it.
All right. So, of course, we had Rebel Yell coming back in. Out of all the Billy Idol songs, you've been doing this for a decade with him. What do you really, really look forward to play? Besides all of them, you have to say all of them, right? But which is the one you're like, yes, that's the one?
I mean, I think Rebel Yell is kind of an obvious one for many reasons. I mean, it's a really, really great song, and it's a lot of fun to play. The audience, of course, is always going to respond very well to it. It has a lot of energy, and that one, I mean, yeah, it's I get asked this a lot. It's really difficult to sort of pinpoint which ones are my favorites. Sometimes we go back and do a lot of older stuff, maybe less known songs that he hasn't done. We call them deep cuts. Some of the stuff he's never even played before. So then it's kind of fun to, modernize them, if you will. Maybe like some of his earlier records had maybe like more programmed stuff and drum machines and synthesizers. And so now you have to sort of rearrange those songs into a more modern setting with the current band. So then it becomes a very creative process along with that to sort of, everyone kind of gets a blank slate to work from. It's like, here's the blueprint of this old song that we've never played live, but now you have your chance to sort of, recreate it in a way that works for our current situation. So that's a lot of fun.
All right, that's interesting. What about this idea? Now, this, of course, look, folks, this is the sports circus, but guess what? We're talking music here because it's about making people move. Sporting events make people move. Music make people move. Let's face it. Even if you're eating the wrong kind of food, it'll make you move real quick. But the fact is, when you go from when you go from maybe a song that was recorded originally at 8 beats per minute, and you go to 16 beats per minute, or you go from 16 to 32, like the club version of it or something like that. Do you ever have a hand in producing those kinds of tracks, maybe the extended version of a track, for example?
So maybe what we will do is, because the song was recorded at a certain tempo, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to translate that well or in the same way when we play it live, because just like you're saying, the level of adrenaline and action that you feel when you're on stage, or whether you're at a sporting event or something, you tend to, be more wound up, right? So it really lends itself to a lot of Billy songs that we play them, a little bit faster, not drastically faster, but, just so, because we can feel it as well. Like we're pumped up, our adrenaline is skyrocketing. So we want to play it a little bit faster. Of course, it can't be too fast because, it's going to be irresponsible to the actual song and how it was orchestrated and arranged. But no, we definitely speed up a lot of the songs.
Yeah, I remember being in a club. I mean, I'm not going to date myself, but you can kind of imagine. So I'm hearing Dancing with Myself, but I'm hearing the club version, right? I'm hearing the extended version of it. So maybe it's a 6 or 7 minute version rather than 3.5 minutes. How much more work goes into that on your side, or is it done by looping certain drum beats?
So with that recording, I don't know exactly how they did all of that. I mean, I know that song, because I actually had to re-record it before I was even in the band. So I know that those are real drums, because I had to sit and listen to the exact drum parts, and we had to, sort of match the sounds as well as we could. So I'm not really sure how they did that extended version.
Yeah, I always wonder that, because, back in the day, I'd go to the clubs and I'd hear songs I'd hear on the radio. I'm like, yeah, I know that song, but wow, here's the club version of it. And it goes for like 8 or 9 minutes versus the 3 or 3.5 minutes. And now if you're playing this, at what point do your arms and your legs really start burning, saying, oh man, this, I got to keep going, but you want to stop, but you can't stop. Right. Only because maybe it's the lactic acid buildup. I don't know. I've only picked up a pair of drumsticks one time in my life. I don't know how you do what you do, because I did this for a few minutes and my forearms were on fire.
Well, to answer your first question, I think the club version is, what they do is they find a way to digitally just extend it. So whether that's, basically looping a part of the section and then just extending that, I would imagine that's what they're doing. In terms of feeling tired, well, yeah, I mean, it's a very high energy gig. So, I suppose you can compare my role as the drummer in this band a little bit to an athlete's role, just in terms of how you have to prepare. You have to build up, your technique, your stamina. So yeah, I have to practice a lot. I have to go to the gym. I have to stretch. I have to make sure, my form is correct. All those things. And, you build up to it. And that's one thing that can become, like you learn as you go with this, obviously, but if you're not careful, like the adrenaline that you get from walking out, let's say in front of 50,000 people and play Dancing with Myself, which is a really fast song, which ironically is usually a song that we start with for a lot of festivals. So it's usually on me to start that damn thing. And so unless I'm in almost like a centered place, mentally, to know that, listen, you can't go out too hard, because you will never get through the song with the amount of adrenaline that you're feeling. So you have to you want to go out with a lot of energy, but you also need to know, you have to pace yourself. So you always have, you can't run out of gas, man. Like you need to know that you can get through it. And obviously your stamina improves the more you do it. But yeah, now, we've been on a break for a bit. So when we start up again in April, I'll be sitting 2 weeks before we start and just work that muscle in a sense. So, it hasn't really been too many situations where I've just felt like, oh my God, I'm going to collapse. I'm not going to get through this. Like, no, I mean, maybe we usually don't do more than like 2 gigs in a row. But let's say we were to do maybe 4 gigs in a row, I would definitely feel like, oh God, yeah, it'd be nice, with a day off. So,
that's, Eric, it's a lot like in spring training as we're coming up to our break here. It's like spring training. I'm a former baseball player, and I know you got to get out there. Pitchers and catchers have to report early. And that's what I used to do. I used to be a pitcher. And so we need those extra reps because we can't just get out there and throw 9 innings. Well, today they don't even throw 9 innings. I mean, the whole thing is ass backwards. But anyway, the baseball side of it is very much the same. I mean, you really got to build up and get that stamina ready because let me tell you, as you get to the middle of the season, you get tired. You get towards the dog days of summer. It's what they call late July, September, or August. Your arm starts to get tired. You get tired, and everything just kind of drops down. And believe me, it is a haul. So I would imagine doing what you do as well. Folks, we're going to be back here with Erik Eldenius, Billy Idol's drummer, and also the drummer has been for many others. We're going to get into that in just a little bit when we come back on Sports Circus. Lots more to come. Don't go anywhere.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935, or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
800-361-3491. 800-361-3491. 800-361-3491. Again, that's 800-361-3491.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live in Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV. This segment brought to you in part by Kelly Vegas, helping people create and host their very own radio, TV, or multimedia talk show. Kelly Vegas can help with everything they need to get out of sitting in hours of traffic, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job, and host their very own talk show in their very own home studio. For more information, contact Kelly Vegas at 949-445-1119. It's 949-445-1119. Again, 949-445-1119. Or visit online for more information at www.kellyvegas.com. That's CALI Vegas.com. All right, welcome back to everybody listening in on Magic 97.9 FM right here in Las Vegas, as well as our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. And, of course, Hotel Television. A big welcome in to Erik Eldenius, drummer for Billy Idol. And, you know, he's also been a drummer for a hell of a lot more. By the way, here's just a short list. Drummer for Cher. I mean, you can almost stop the list right there. Drummer for Cher, drummer for Donna Summer, LeAnn Rhymes, Fight for Fighting. I love that's one of the best names of all time. Fight for Fighting, because I love hockey. Jackson Brown, right? Another iconic name. Mandy Moore, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, Erik, I guess you've been doing this for a minute, haven't you?
It's been a while, yeah. It's been a pretty amazing ride, that's for sure.
Well, the last 10 years with Billy, and I'm sure you have seen damn near everything the music industry has to offer. What is it that you have seen and you still scratch your head today and say, what the hell was that? Or how the hell did that happen?
That's a good question. I'm not sure how much of it I can actually answer, because I would have to censor my thinking here in real time, which I'm not really good about. Something that happened. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. This is terrible.
Oh, it's not terrible. You probably just have so many things going on in there. You're like, wow, which one do I pick? And there have been things that I've seen here in Las Vegas that makes me scratch my head. I'm like, okay, in Vegas, you can
narrow it down. Can you narrow it down?
Okay, let's narrow it down to something that happened on the stage, maybe doing your sound, maybe even during your sound checks. You're like, uh-oh, we got a problem.
So, yeah. And well, there's many examples when it comes to that. I can give you a couple, and I'll start with mine because it was my mistake. And again, remember how earlier we talked about, you know, the drums being such a driving role in Billy's band, and if something goes wrong, the beat stops and how everything kind of just comes to a halt. Well, that can happen if the drummer makes a mistake. And we did a song called Whiskey and Pills, which is a very, very intense forward driving song. Kind of weird, complicated sections, a lot of heavy guitar riffs. And after the second chorus, there's this big breakdown that happens. Basically, I stop playing and everyone just kind of does this big one, this chord, and it rings out for a bit. Well, for some reason in Chicago a few years ago, I thought it was a really good idea to do this after the first chorus instead of the second. So I just stopped playing. Meanwhile, of course, everyone else carries on the song. You know, they go back into the re-enter after the first chorus and so forth. And because everyone is looking, I was like, well, what the hell is going on? Why did he stop playing? And of course, now at this moment, it hits me that, sorry. And so you're trying to sort of navigate at lightning speed. How do we get out of this? So I start playing the verse again to see if everyone's going to follow. Someone else starts playing another section. Billy doesn't know what to do because all he can hear is like basically cacophony behind him.
That's the fact.
We try for like a good 15 seconds or so. And eventually I can hear him laughing on the microphone because he can just hear like everyone's just trying to save my mess up. And eventually he just like, guys, stop. And he's never done that. He just realized that this has gone too far. We need to start over. So that was a pretty not my finest moment.
Well, that's okay though. I mean, look, we've all been to concerts or seen video where, okay, just stop. Let's do it over. Elvis did a ton of these. I listen to Elvis on the radio all the time. I can't help it. Channel 19 or whatever the hell it is, the Elvis channel. I like it. But anyway, there are so many of those outtakes and so many screw ups, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, look, I could tell you just on air every day we screw up. And the only time we ever have to go back and fix something is when maybe a bad word comes out, whatever. We have to go bleep that out or something, but it happens. Life happens. Now, if you're doing a live, if you're live via satellite on the Westwood One, right, and then on the XDS, which we've done years of that, sometimes people say stuff, and it is what it is. You just kind of have to let it sit out there. And as long as it isn't me necessarily saying something bad, the FCC is going to come rumbling in. Well, you said this. No, I didn't say anything. It is what it is. But I get it. And so sometimes you have the opportunity to redo, especially when it's live. And I dig that. I leave the mistakes in for all the mistakes that I make mistakes every program.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, my concern meter for the most part, it's on 0, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I don't really worry too much about it because I used to get worried about, I made a mistake here. And then my producer said, just go with it. Just relax. Erik, I couldn't even understand what that meant until I'm doing this for a couple of years. Now I'm like, I give a damn, but I don't give a damn, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course.
So, all right. So on stage, redoing a whole song. Now, out of all the artists that you've worked with, which one have you had to redo? Just stop right in the middle of it and redo it again the most with?
That's the only time that's happened.
Really? Oh, nice.
Unless there has been, a technical issue, maybe, a microphone didn't work, or something just went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of me making a mistake to where we needed to redo it,
right?
Luckily, that's the only time that's happened.
Do you find that the talent that you work with out of, pick your favorite name, whatever, do you find that for the most part, some are remarkably anal over little things while some are just whatever, just keep on trucking, keep on playing?
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to name names there, but I've definitely worked with some people that are, they're worrying about the wrong things. They're nitpicking about stuff that no one's going to notice, no one's going to care about. And for whatever reason, they just do that. And usually that means that they're just, I don't know, maybe insecure about themselves, or I don't know. That's kind of the best.
I think that's a really good statement, because how many entertainers out there and athletes, we have the same thing in the athletic world. They complain about every little thing. And I can tell you, standing on a pitcher's mound, pitchers get squeezed by an umpire, meaning the strike zone gets smaller for various reasons, whatever. Right. And so some pitchers, like I used to complain a lot about it. It's like, man, stop squeezing me, because I know that ball's over the plate, and the hitters crowding the plate, so it looks like it's inside. But no, his hands are over the plate. If I hit his hands, that's a strike, because his hands are in the strike zone. Most people don't know that, but people complain. So I had to learn to kind of get over that. And I'm sure there's a lot of artists out there that are in very much the same. It's like, look, just relax and go do what you do and have some fun out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, at least this I can say, that Billy is very much, unless there is something really, really bad going on, he is not really going to say anything. He trusts his band. He trusts Steve Stevens as his musical director. And, we all have a lot of respect for the music and for him. So no one's really going to do anything that could be, maybe looked at as inappropriate or non-musical, or, everyone is trying to do their best. So, he is a force of nature on stage. Like, I've never seen a front man like him. And that's all he's worried about. He basically expects, like, hey, I'm coming out here every night and kicking ass. And I expect for you to do the exact same thing. And
Right.
so,
I'll tell you what, when we come back, Erik, I want you to stick around with us for the last segment. Erik Eldenius from Billy Idol's band. He is the drummer, and he's making the beats go and making the world dance. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come here on The Circus.
It's election and a mirror reflection. I'm a dancing with myself. But when there's no one else inside, in the crowd
You don't sit behind a desk every day to
And
earn a
in the
living.
last
You're out
segment,
and
I wanna
about
give you a chance
making
to
it
talk about all
happen.
the things that you're
And sometimes
doing.
you
You're
get a
doing
little
session
bit
work.
behind on your
If you're
paperwork,
doing,
like bookkeeping and
recording
paying your
work for
taxes.
others,
It's
whatever
easy
your
to get
interests
behind
are,
and paying your
driving
taxes.
people
It
to
happens to the best of us.
go
And
to
you
your
know what
website,
happens
et cetera,
next.
et cetera.
The
I went to your
big
website,
bad
by the way, and
IRS
it
comes
said,
knocking on your
when I
door.
tried to click on
And when that
bio
happens,
and
you
this and
need to
that and the
call the
other,
good
and it
old
was-
boys
I
at the
guess it's under
tax
construction.
doctor.
Is that right?
Let them do what they do best. Deal and negotiate with
It's
the
all
IRS so
good.
you pay the lowest
I
you
did
can
change
in
a couple
back
things. I
taxes that the
wasn't
law
sure
allows.
how
We are a
much was
100%
actually-
U.S.-based company,
Maybe,
and we've
you know,
saved
it
our
could also be
clients
that the
millions
host-
over the years in back
There's one of those
taxes.
stupid things where,
If
you
you
know,
owe
I
$10,000 or
lost a
more in
credit
back
card and
taxes,
got
call
a
my
new
friends
one, and
right
then I
now
got
at the
a notice
tax
actually this
doctor
morning
and
saying,
learn more.
800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. That's 800-989-1694.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either.
It's not just
I've
Billy,
got an
but
offer
of
to
course
tell
I
you
have to
about to
use this
provide
because
home
it is what it
security
is.
for your home for less than $1
No,
a
that's
day.
good. I mean,
For real,
I'll
with
jump
no
on that as soon as
installation
we're done,
or equipment
actually.
charges.
Yeah,
And
is
this
he
is
good
from a
about
company
talking
rated
to
#1 by a leading
outlets like
consumer
this?
research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call
I
unless
hate
there's a
to
burglary in
say
your neighborhood or
no.
something bad happens.
He
So let's
doesn't
give
do
you
a
a
lot of
reason.
it.
Save money. For less than $1 a
unfortunately.
day with no other
That's
costs,
fine.
you can get your
I mean,
home
I
secured.
only offer,
Plus,
I mean, look, I've
get a
had a lot
lifetime
of huge
equipment
names on
replacement
the
warranty.
show.
You
And it's
need
been
protection
fun.
for your home.
We've
Call
had
the
a
Home
lot
Security
of fun
Hotline
with some
right
of the
now.
different people. My buddy Todd is out playing with, he's touring with Slash and Miles Kennedy. He sings with Slash and Miles. He does a lot of the GNR stuff for them.
361-3491.
Todd's been on it a
Again,
number
that's
of times, and just a lot of people in the business have been here, and it's just an open forum. It's fucking fun.
That's
it
the
is.
sound of sizzling, dry-aged
USDA
Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UppercutChops.com. They're best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even the Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops
again,
at
it's just about having fun. It's super loose, no bullshit.
UppercutChops.com
so I can speak freely. Yeah, I'll have them cut out the
directly to your
fuck up, whatever. That's easy. But it's just something where a lot of the people, so if you look at my page, the Sports Circus website, those people that are on there, most of them, it's either a friend or a friend of a friend. Even Bobby Kennedy, RFK Jr., he's going to be my sidekick coming up in the next, maybe the next 3 or 4 weeks. He'll be a regular on my show. Bobby's a good buddy. All right, here we go. All right, folks, welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP TV. Big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Magic 97.9 FM right here in Las Vegas and everywhere else. Hotel television. I hope you're enjoying this one. We've got Billy Idol's drummer. That is Erik Eldenius. Thanks for joining us, Erik. Much appreciated.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. All right. So you drum for Billy, but you've drummed for a bunch of other people, but you also do a lot of other work as well. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So I also produce records and write with people, mix. I run a recording studio, so I will host bands. You know, I built a recording retreats basically up in the mountains. So bands or artists or producers will come up here and utilize the studio. And basically, you know, some people will stay here for several days and just take advantage of the fact that you can get out of Los Angeles and just have a very, very different environment. And but the fact that I have the studio, of course, also allows me to do a lot of remote work. So I, play on records, do, TV jingles, movies, TV shows from with people from all over the world, basically. So, the advent of the internet.
So when you're producing music, and let's say maybe you're writing for them, let's go to the writing side for a minute, right? There's always the possibility, like if you're in the film world, right, you'll have the IMDb credits and you'll get credits on the crawl and stuff like that. When you're I have to ask this in the right way, because sometimes there is a film, let's just use the film industry. Sometimes there's a film and it's not really a good film. Maybe someone got paid a bunch of money for it, but it's almost like a black eye on their IMDb. But they take the money because they love the money, whatever, and they don't care how bad the role is because they got paid. I had this conversation with somebody from the football world yesterday, 2-time Super Bowl champion. And he had said, well, somebody took the money and they just said, I don't really care for the bad team that I play for. What about the music industry? Is there a little bit more pride of, hey, look, I want my name attached to something that sounds good and it feels right. Never mind the fact that I got paid a bunch of money for it.
I mean, I would hope that everyone feels that way, that, they're going to take on the job and put in the effort that requires and feel good about their work. Now, as we all know, it could also be a situation where you just, you need the money, you need the cash, and you might take on something that, you don't love. It may not be your proudest accomplishment, but you do it and you try to do a good job. And, maybe you don't talk about it. Maybe you don't advertise it. Maybe you do it under an alias. There's a lot of things that happen. I guess I've been lucky, very lucky, for a while now, that I don't really have to take anything on that I don't want to. So, but a lot of people, I mean, I don't blame anyone. I don't look at that as a negative thing per se, because I understand everyone's situation is different. And sometimes people just have to take on stuff that, they normally wouldn't want to do.
Right. Erik, Erik, it's not really about luck. It's about everything else but luck, because you've earned your spot. You coming from the other side of the planet and finding your way to another country, then finding your way over here and doing everything. Look, this isn't a mistake. This is your path. And it's the path, that's the road that you bladed and graded. You didn't just get handed a golden opportunity, or you didn't fall into it. Your skill gave you the opportunity.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, you have to prepare, and when you do get that phone call, you need to be ready. You can't really say, okay, yeah, sure, wonderful. I'll take that. Just give me 2 weeks to prepare. That doesn't really happen. Like you need to be ready in whichever way that makes sense to each individual. I felt like I just needed to, even let's say if I was in between jobs, I still felt a strong responsibility towards myself and my career that, if I were to get a phone call tomorrow, I would be ready. I could jump on a plane and be prepared. Because you just don't get that time period to prepare. So I'm sure it's different for everyone, but I just have this this fear in the sense that I wouldn't be prepared. So I try to always be as much as I can.
Well, see, now this is, folks, if you're just tuning in right now, we're here with Erik Eldenius, drummer for Billy Idol, and he's been drummer for Cher and Donna Summer and Jackson Browne, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Look, the fact is, if you're driving to and from work right now, there's nothing wrong with it. If you're listening at home casually, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you're trying to figure out how the hell do you hit the pinnacle of your profession, whatever the hell it is, just like Erik had said, you've got to be ready. Because let's face it, the old cliche. I can't stand cliches, but your first impression is a lasting impression, whatever, right? So you get that shot. When you're given the shot, man, you better be ready. And I know what it's like not to be ready. I personally had an issue like this, which stunted my baseball career for a couple of years because I wasn't ready for one situation, and I knew it was coming, but I didn't know how to get ready. But the thing is, I knew how to get ready because I wasn't ready. In other words, I knew what I had to do, and I thought I could ease my way into it in the situation. But no, you got to step on the hill right there and kick the world's ass. And that's what I didn't do, and I wasn't ready to do that. So the opportunity was given to me for something, and frankly, I just wasn't ready. And so shame on me, because all I had to do was perform and say, "Show me the money!" And guess what? There was no money because I stopped myself. And Erik, I got in my own way. How many people do you know do the same thing?
Too many. And, I've been in that situation. I mean, and it could be, devastating, of course, in that moment. But at the same time, it's also such a wake-up call. It's a gift in a sense, like, okay, you fell on your ass. Now you know what to do. That's luckily how I saw it when it happened to me, or the times that it's happened. But luckily, nothing has never been so devastating. So it's just like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to quit the music industry right now, or anything like that. No, it's just a smack over the head. Like, all right, stop crying, pick yourself up, and don't do this again.
Right. It's just about recognizing the opportunity, and there was somebody I talked to recently overseas about the same kind of thing. And it has been one screw up after another. Nice people, right? One complacent move after another. And you wonder, all those people in the sporting world, the music world, the film world, in the top business people and politics, whatever. Well, politics, we'll leave it alone. But nonetheless, but thinking about everybody else, you say, well, look, you recognize the opportunity and you seized it and you owned it. And that's why you've been where you're at, for example, for 10 years with Billy Idol, because look, it's no mistake, buddy, you're doing it for a very good reason.
Well, we can use him as a pretty good example when it comes to this, because I had the opportunity to be invited to a recording session for Billy. This is about, probably it's more than 20 years ago. I was quite young. I was working with Keith Forsey, Billy's producer, with another artist, and Billy was starting to record a bunch of demos again. And because I was working with Keith on this other project, he invited me to come in and play drums. So that was when I first met Billy. And And this would happen periodically, maybe every 3 or 4 years or so. And I just had it in my head that, like, I want that job one day. And anytime I would get invited back in to record and we would have a positive experience, I would feel more and more inclined, obviously, to, project or mentally prepare, ask whatever you want to call it, right? I just had that in mind for such a long time, and I would sit and play along with those records. I would physically and musically get ready for all of that stuff, not knowing if it would ever happen, but I wanted it to happen. And yeah, about 12 years ago, 11 to 12 years ago, I got called in to re-record Rebel Yell and Dancing with Myself. And around the same time, I was doing another project with Harold Faltermeyer, who wrote the Top Gun theme. And, Steve Stevens did that wonderful guitar. And we worked on another project. I did another song for that. And that coincided at a perfect timing. Do we need to go take a break?
Well, here's what we're going to do, because we're coming up on the end of the show. I want you to take about 30 seconds to tell everybody how to follow you, what you're working on, and where they could find you as well.
Okay. All right. So if you want to know further about me, my recording studio, my website is ericeldenius.com, ErikEldenius. And under that name, you can also find me on Instagram. Follow me there, please. And Facebook. And that's it.
That's it. And you can also go to see when Billy Idol's touring, and they can find you high above everybody else playing those drums. How exciting. You got a tour coming up. We can't talk much about it, but make sure you check, I'm sure, probably BillyIdol.com or something like that for all of Billy's information.
BillyIdol.net has all the all the confirmed tour dates you can find there for sure.
That's good stuff. Well, Erik, of course, when you come through Las Vegas, we'd certainly like to, maybe we'll go to Curry Leaf and get some fine flavors of India. What do you think about that?
Yeah, man. Gotta visit my home people. That'd be great.
That's great stuff. You'll dig the food, guaranteed. All right, Erik, thanks for joining us today here on the Sports Circus. And of course, you're always welcome back. Bring the rest of the band, bring everybody. I don't care. Just bring somebody, because it's always fun. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. I'm your Ringmaster Cell, and we'll see you next time right here on the Sports Circus. Better yet, in 23 hours. Until then, so long, everyone.
Business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you start up with capital, business strategy, sales, and marketing, and establish your company with a physical location or an online presence on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea. Then American Business Trust can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's abtrustco.com. Or call them at 657-600-1876. That's American Business Trust Company. 657-600-1876. Call them today. They'll help your business right away. That's American Business Trust Company. Online at abtrustco.com. American Business Trust Company.